Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackenberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hey everybody, it's another week and we are back at it here at Wise Kracks. I'm John Orlando. I've got the great Bill Krackenberger with us. What's going on, Crack?
Hey, thanks. Good, nice to see you, John. And another week here and back in the home studio. Looking forward to tackle some end of March Madness here and some baseball starting. So
yeah. I like when you're back in the home studio. It looks good. I like it. You look happy.
Yeah. I'll be on the road again though shortly.
Oh yeah. All right. You're a traveling man.
Yeah. I like to travel anyway. So traveling's crazy right now, though. It's so crazy. John, I know we were going to cover it later, but since we're on that thing, I think you were just on a flight Saturday. I was on a flight Monday. Wow. Every seat was taken on my plane. I mean, it was madness, out of control on a Monday, which I figured that would be the slow day. Absolutely out of control. Every seat taken. The stimulus money is in. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I flew to LA for the day. I went to Randall Emmett's 50th birthday party. Randall Emmett, big movie producer, produced The Irishman and Lone Survivor. I went to his birthday party on this past Saturday night. And when I got to the Vegas airport to park, all the way to the roof, not one single spot. It got to the point it was so bad, I didn't want to miss the flight. I had to leave and valet the car because there was no spots and the airport was packed.
Now, come on. You can name drop here. Any big names at that party except for John Orlando?
So shockingly, it seemed to be limited to like his really tight friends and family. Yeah,
nice you were part of it.
Yeah, I'm glad I made the cut. I was honored.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see like Stallone or Mark Wahlberg because I know he's very tight with them too. But I think maybe also because of COVID and stuff, it's so risky for those guys to go out, and they don't want to be judged for being at a place like that. So I think that had something to do with it.
That's really true too.
Yeah.
John, I know your mom had a medical issue this past week, so my thoughts and prayers with her. And our parents mean so much to us. So I know mine did. So I'm glad that she's recovering and on the mend.
Thanks, man. She's doing good. I'm hoping actually today, I think she's going to get to go home today. So she's been in the hospital since Sunday, had a minor stroke. And I think they call it a TPI is I think what they call it. So it's like a minor thing, but she's great. I was there all day yesterday and thank you so much for that.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. So Crack, baseball season, opening day is tomorrow. And I'm going to make a bold Dodger prediction later on in this episode for you. We're going to talk about it later. I think you know what I'm going to say.
Well, I'm just laughing because you say bold. I mean, everyone knows you love the Dodgers.
Yes,
the background setting.
But
it's going to be bold to pick the Dodgers.
Yes, but my prediction is going to be bold. I have a bold prediction later in the show. I'm going to save it for when our guest is with us, and this would be a great time for me to tease the guest. We've got in honor of March Madness, we've got a very good friend of the show who's been working in the sports books for decades, and he's on several podcasts and stuff. I speak of Dave Sharapan, the Sports Book Consigliere, will be joining us a little later, and I will give the bold Dodger prediction then. But in honor of opening day, I'm going to make a little prediction for you, Crack. I'm going to give you a little betting strategy for the first 3 games of this season.
Okay.
Can I share those with you?
Sure.
The Blue Jays are going to open this season 3-0, and I'm going to parlay that every game.
Yeah, Toronto is actually going to be better than they have been they're supposed to be. They're predicted to be better than they have in previous years. So that's good. I hope you're right about that, John.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you to get that. But the weather's heating up. So we got I can feel it in Vegas, 80 degrees, 75 to 80, going to be 85. it's great. And as you can see these numbers going up on the thermometer, you could also see the numbers going up as far as visitation goes. This town the past few weekends has been wall to wall sold out, and it's going to be now too this weekend. They're expecting record numbers. I just hope they do it safely. I hope it's being, because I'll tell you, if you watch the news, there's some, our president came on and talked about the virus, how it's still, some record numbers are being reported again. I just hope that everyone just takes that into consideration and does this safely. I know people are, you're in the house, you're just waiting to travel on vacation. You're the four walls closing in on you. You think people are getting the the vaccines, and you say, "Oh, it's good now. We can go now." It's not the case right now. You still have to do it safely. Trust me, I travel, so I know. I wear a mask and I wear a shield. Maybe I'm overdoing it. I don't know, but it's just I know people are coming out here to Vegas in droves, and I just hope that there's no problems coming down the road from it. Yeah,
amen. And whatever you're doing is working, because you haven't got sick. Knock on wood. So let me knock on wood.
Knock on it. You're right. Yeah. So we're going to the basketball real quick.
Yeah,
we have the two number one seeds remaining, pretty much the best two teams of all year, Gonzaga and Baylor. Sweet 16 was not so sweet to me. Boy, I had a bad run this college basketball season. I won the tournament. I had a really good season, actually, hit over 60%, which is hard to do. It's going to make people a lot of money. But as it gets closer to the final game, I do always say it gets tougher and tougher. And sure enough, it got tougher and tougher for me. But Houston is a team that I had the other night, -7. Great line. As a matter of fact, I just crumpled up one of my tickets here. There's a nice $5,000 ticket, -7.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
They were winning by 17, and next thing you know, the game was tied. So, and then at the end, they had to hit a miracle 3 against me to make me lose. So with 5 seconds left. So Houston, also speaking about that, they haven't faced a single-digit seed all season, all tournament. And Texas semifinal versus Baylor. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here in these last couple of games that people might get upset at me. I don't even know if I'm going to have a game or selection. These lines look pretty tight to me right now. So I may just focus with the NBA and baseball. So we're going to see what's going to happen. UCLA, we got to give them credit too. They came from the first 4 to be the final 4. It's only been done once before. VCU did it as an 11 seed. Big underdogs to Gonzaga now. We're going to be talking about that a little bit with our guests. So.
Crack, I got to tell you something, and this might sound crazy, but when you say that they had to hit a 3-pointer with 5 seconds left or whatever to beat you.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound stupid. I'm going to get trashed for this on Twitter probably, but I feel like that's actually you winning that game. Like you picked it right. You know what I mean? Like you picked it right.
I think I had the right side of this game.
That was a freak occurrence. That was just like a freak occurrence.
They're up by 9, inbound the ball, and a miracle 3, like over a guy.
Right.
And then they don't foul. If they take a timeout with 4 seconds left and don't foul, to at least give me a chance to tie or win with foul or free throws. But that's the way it goes. Listen, I'm transparent about it. Try to talk to other guys that especially the guys that have their own services like myself that talk about losing weekends or losing weeks. You're not going to find it. It's all about what we've done lately, the last 10 games, 3 games. I could proudly talk about what I've done all year, every year since I've had crack wins. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, speaking of crack wins, I want to talk about our favorite parlay, which is the WSN crack wins parlay. Sports fans and gamblers alike, I've got to tell you, as I do every week on the show, I know I'm a broken record here, but if you haven't been to WSN.com, you are losing money. You need to head over to that site. This is the site for guys like Bill and even guys like myself. They've got all of the latest promos and bonuses, strategy guides, and there's a ton of info on that website. Crack, you're back me up on this one. You're on that site daily.
It's great to actually promote a site that I actually do use and go to all the time. I'm there every single week. So WSN.com is a gold mine for advantage gamblers and squares alike, really. It's got everything. The articles, the links, the promos on there. Like I said, I found promos on WSN.com that I haven't found on any other site. So it's really good to see them. And when I say promos, I mean the legal sports books around the country. So if you haven't already gotten there, make sure you check out WSN.com.
And Crack, let me ask you something. Am I, what would you classify me? Am I an advantage gambler or am I a square?
I'm going to be nice and move on to the next section of the show.
All right. Well, for the rest of you squares out there, head on over to the Crack Wins app. You can get it on Apple. You can also get it on Google Play, or you can just go to crackwins.com. Crack kills it on pro basketball. He's got the golf season, baseball season is getting underway. So make sure you sign up and get on the Crack Wins app, Crack Wins app, and get in the winner's circle. How's that, Crack?
Yeah,
squares alike. I favored myself.
We provide consistent long-term winners. That's all I could say. It's a long-term game, and I could tell by my clientele, they know that too. I've had guys on there from day one for 2 years that have been with me. So closing line value, of course, equals winners in the end. And we have exclusive content articles, strategy articles. We write a transparent write-up every week of what we're doing. Again, crackwins.com, crackwins app. And good deal, though. Thanks.
And Crack, before we get to the guest segment, I do want to just recount something from last week. Maybe the producers could even go find this clip from last week. I made a UFC prediction last week, Crack, and I said, as much as you don't like it, bet the house on Ngannou to beat Stipe Miocic against Francis Ngannou, who is just an absolute monster. And Francis lost the first one, but I think he's going to come back. It's real close. I think Stipe's even money. I think Francis is minus 120 right now. And I see Francis getting this one done and setting up an incredible trilogy. That's what I see happening. And he did exactly that, Crack.
Good
job. He knocked him out.
Hey, every once in a while, the square guy's got to win too. I mean, it wouldn't be fun. You'd never go back if you didn't win once in a while.
This is every once in a while. You're going to feed me a little something, right? Yeah. It's okay to let me win, a minus 120.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, we sat down with I'm going to call him a sportsbook legend. Is that fair enough? I'm going to call him.
He's a sportsbook consigliere. Exactly what he does. He's the guy that we go to as our consigliere, as our consultant. And we sat down with him. Great interview.
Yeah, and here it is. Check this out. Okay, Crack, it's that time. Our guest appeared on Wise Kracks last year. It feels like a couple of weeks ago, but I guess it was last year. He came on and he talked a little football with us. We're happy to have him back. You can hear him as a guest on the Sports Grid on Sirius Radio Channel 204 during the week from 4 to 7, and we'll definitely talk about that with him. He's run books overseas and in Vegas. He's a good friend of the show. He's known as the Sports Book Consigliere. His name is Dave Sharapan, and as you said, Crack, right before we started rolling, he looks great. And I agree with you, other than the fact that he would look better if he had a Dodger hat on top of his head. And we can talk about that too. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Dave, I didn't realize that Pittsburgh, I didn't see the hat. I seen the stuff in the background. That's right. He's got a pot. Dave, are you generally root for the Pirates all year long?
So first of all, thanks for having me back, boys. It's always a pleasure to sit and talk with you. And I can't wait to do it in person at some point.
Yeah.
Second of all, Crack, listen, my first real true love with a team was baseball with the 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates and the We Are Family team. We all imitated Willie Stargell. Dave Parker was one of my favorite players of all time. So I've loved the Pirates longer than I've loved anything in my life, pretty much. I mean, hockey and baseball are my first loves, and the Pirates are my team. But usually it's by Memorial Day that I'm done rooting for the Pirates because baseball season is over in Pittsburgh, usually by Memorial Day. We had a nice run a couple years ago. Yeah, you're mathematically eliminated. They're always the first team with the X in the standings, eliminated from playoff contention.
You talk about the 79 Pirates. I want to blow your mind right now. Ready? I'm just going to throw out some names that I'm going to shock you that I know. I'm going to say Oscar Gamble was on that team. I'm going to say Omar Moreno. Was on that team. I'm going to say John Candelaria was on that team. I want to say Tim Foley. No,
Tim Foley was the shortstop.
Tim Foley was the shortstop.
Wow.
Was Madlock third base?
Mad Dog third
on that
base,
team?
Of course. Yeah, he's in Vegas now. Yeah, Mad Dog's in Vegas.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mike Easler's in Vegas as well. They're giving Mike hitting lessons. Yep.
And Kent Tekulve, I want to say.
Oh, the T. Come on. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed, John.
Is that good?
That's really good. Teak was the closer, and he threw sidearm, and every kid, I tried to do it. I hurt my elbow trying to do it. I never did it, but that was my team. That was the squad. By the way, that was the last time the Pirates won the World Series.
Is it really?
It's the last time they were in the World Series, John. It's been a long time. There's a drought.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a long, long time. So I wear the hat. I got the Pittsburgh stuff behind me for the show. I mean, this is kind of like my mini home studio right now. It's not as nice as your guys. You get that nice brick background. But I feel like I had to wear a hat. I know, John always wears a hat on the show. Crack wears a hat every single day of his life. I think he sleeps with that Kangol on. So, I said, I got to wear a hat today. I'm going to wear the Bucko hat while I can.
I love it.
We're big old school baseball fans too. Me too. So all those names I know. So that was but John, you actually surprised me knowing those names. Wow.
You like that?
I loved it. Yeah, that was, we were all kids. We're all about the same age. So we were all kids back then, and baseball cards, baseball games. That was the biggest thing. I love Dave Parker. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This guy was great. I mean, and Kent DeColvey, I remember him. Remember that sidearm thing? And just like Dave said, we all tried that sidearm and just couldn't hit the plate. It's funny because we used to play wiffle ball. I don't know if you guys played the wiffle ball.
Of course.
Okay. But remember you used to buy it? It was the yellow bat with the ball on the end.
I got one downstairs.
Oh my God.
Play it. We'll go play someday at the park.
So we used to play wiffle ball every day too, and the ball used to do such funky things. And one of the guys was Kent DeColvey. You tried to that sidearm pitch, and you'd see if it would go up. It was just really cool. Really cool. So
for sure.
Good conversation. So Dave, tell us what you're doing now. So tell the people at home what, since, I've known you as working in sports books from the Golden Nugget to the M. And of course, I know you had your period overseas when you worked down in Curacao. What are you doing now, Dave? I know you were looking into the media side, and I was crossing my fingers for you. And I think some of that luck may have came through for you. What are you doing?
So last time we talked, I had a stroke on September 11th, and thank God came out of it better than before. It's just been an absolute miracle. Thank God every day. I thank God every day that I wake up, I'm just in a better place, mentally, physically, all of it. So I got out of the book, from making the numbers in a risk room at CG in the last stop when they went to William Hill. I said, I'm going to take a break. And started the media gig full time, like pushing hard to just do my own podcast, which I do. It's called Cash Considerations, where I'm the host, just like you guys are. And I bring on a guest and we talk. And I got a couple guys that, are in the business and not in the business. And we talk sports. So then I started doing some other stuff. Appeared on VSN, appeared everywhere I could. Like today, I'm doing 4 shows. You're number 2 of 4 today, where we're just talking about the games, talking about gambling, talking about life, talking about whatever. And it led to being on now sportsgrid.com or SiriusXM channel 204, Monday through Friday from 4 to 7 Pacific, which is 7 to 10 Eastern. I'm on a show with 3 different shows. So from 4 to 5, I'm on with 2 guys named Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. And we address right when the games start, what the lines closed at, what you're looking at as far as in-game lines and watching the early moves. Then from 5 to 6, I go to exclusively a radio show with a guy named Donnie Rightside Seymour in Philly, and a kid named Kevin Walsh in New York City. So we got a Pittsburgh, Philly, and New York thing working right there. And then I go back at 7, back on TV to get the close of the East Coast late games and the start of the West Coast, start times, and look at games. So like last night we were watching, the game, whether it was going to go over or under, whether it was, a hockey game where a team was down 3-0 coming back. And I'm sitting there talking about lines. Crack. It's like me and you sitting in the book like the old days, watching the games. I'm waiting for you to make a play. At the same time, we both got an eye on the screen going, how's this one going to end? And thinking, all right, what's that first half number going to be in that 7:00 game? Because I'm looking at that. So it's a culmination of 20-something years being in the book and talking about sports. I absolutely love it. It's fun. It's a good listen. You don't kill anybody with analytics. You don't go over the top with stuff. But, man, is it fun.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And to be your last thing you said is I am sick and tired of the overblown analytics theories. And I'm just sick and tired. Listen, I love the movie Moneyball. Absolutely love it. I can watch it again and again. But I more like the scenes in Moneyball when the Brad Pitt character, Billy Bean, with his daughter and the team and rooting himself more than the analytics side. Not that I didn't love Jonah Hill, and I love the whole movie. But I am just sick and tired. They brought a lot of the teams now are bringing back that human element, that human feel, things that a computer cannot tell you, injuries, weather, conditions, temperament, different skill sets other than the computer. Now, listen, I know that there is every single NFL team has an analytics department. I know that now. And my friend, one of my good friends also is on one of them. So I do know that that's what happens. But I'm just getting sick and tired of all this.
Isn't it like you can equate it to sports betting, right? Like me and you can read a screen. We can know a number. Like, I mean, I saw Colorado report their revenue numbers, and I saw a number, and I said, that can't even be right. I reached out to the guy that reported it, and I said, you got to check that number. That's got to be wrong. Like, you can I don't need an analytics report to spot a bad number. You don't either. Like, that's the human element that nobody can teach me or you. And it's hard for us to explain to someone what we do. Like, I get asked that question all the time. How do you know? And I'm like, I don't know how I know, but I do know. Like, so, and that's, how do you make a number? Well, I make it this way, but this guy has this spreadsheet, this many programs, this and that. Well, I want to talk to that guy. In fact, I might hire that guy, but I ain't doing that. I've done it on the back of a napkin. I've sat offshore with guys that were doing it with a cigar in their mouth and said, what do you make the number? 6. What do you make the number? 5. Well, all right, put up 5.5. Let's go. And that's how you made the numbers. And now everything's so different. And like the analytics thing, Crack, like sometimes it gives you a headache, don't it?
Yeah.
Like it's come on, enough.
It does. It does. Absolutely. Speaking of, let's talk about last night. You probably were maybe talking about it. I don't know if we were on air talking about it, but you kind of like Gonzaga, right? And I'm sure you liked them last night, you said?
Yeah. So pregame, I kept asking the question, like, guys, Gonzaga's won 33 games and 26 of them or something have been by double digits. Like, why is this line not 10? And I saw 9 and I saw it tick down to 8.5 and I saw it go down to 8 before the game and said, I don't like Gonzaga. I love Gonzaga. And then I watched the game and I really got to watch the game. And this is the first time since they beat BYU in the West Coast Conference Championship that I got to watch this team play. You want to talk about artistry. You want to talk about just enjoying a basketball game and watching a team play. That's the way the game is supposed to be played. That was the way it was meant to be played. 5 guys moving in unison, making that extra pass. They told the Mobley brothers, these big bad dudes sitting in the middle, we're coming at you. We're not staying outside shooting threes. We're getting a layup every time down the court. And it was awesome to watch. It solidified. I thought the Zags were going to win it before the tournament. I still think they're going to win it. The fascinating thing to me last night was the next game. And this is what we do, right?
I saw that on your Twitter.
Yeah, I'm watching the game thinking, all right, what are you going to make a number against the next team? Like, if Michigan wins, what's the number? If UCLA wins, what's the number? And this is every day of my life. Like, I'm constantly looking at things. I challenge my kids. Well, what do you think? How big of a favorite do you think you're going to be? I mean, do you think you're going to get your homework done by 9 o'clock? I'll make you a minus 180 favorite. No. All right, there you go. Like, I mean, we do that all the time, every day. This is what it's like to grow up in this house. It's hard. It's really tough. But I'm looking at it going, what's the number? If it's UCLA, what's the number got to be for a guy like you, Crack? Because for 20 years, I know that everybody's going to bet the Zags. I need to come up with a number that's going to give you pause, right? Or, someone, right, a pro who's got money that's going to make a statement. So I know where my limit is. So is 14 enough for you? Like, when you saw it, is it there yet where you're going to go, I like UCLA?
I bet less and less as we get to the final game here. So,
right.
I really don't have a side yet here. I think the number is pretty good. I don't know. What do you think? I thought it was, I thought people would think it was crazy to open up. I think this is like the biggest spread at this point in the Final Four since I think, did you say it last night? Someone told me last night, Kentucky and Syracuse.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Like 14. Yeah.
And that's the benefit now of doing all the media stuff. I've met so many cool people, and one of them is a guy named Mackenzie Kramer, who's an ESPN stats and research guy, and he does a lot of the work for the guys on the Daily Wager. And I got to sit down with him and met him, and I said, "You're the coolest guy at the party because if I have a question, I ask you, and if you don't know the answer, you know where to get it in 30 seconds." So what did I do last night? I said, "Hey, Mac, what's the biggest total?" And he's like, or what's the biggest spread in Final Four history? He had it to me within less than a minute. So that was it. And they didn't cover. So is this the number that they don't cover? It might be. The story is incredible with UCLA, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Cinderella,
ride, guys. It's been great. So I don't know. I can't wait to watch the game on Saturday. I cannot wait to watch it. And by this time, usually, Crack, we're tired of basketball. We're done. And this is one of those games. The other game, I'm not so excited to watch. I got to be honest. It's going to be an ugly defensive basketball game. Right. But UCLA and the Zags, I can't wait to see what happens.
Do you give UCLA any shot at pulling off a crazy upset?
I don't think they have a real shot at winning the game. But if they do, we're talking like Hoosiers level stuff. We're talking like Hickory. Like this will be the biggest upset that I can remember, like going back to even Villanova, Georgetown in the late 80s was a huge upset. This team is so good and they have so many ways to beat you. UCLA has one path to victory. They have to play the best defensive game they've played yet, and they keep playing defense. They have to have the best shooting night that they've had yet, and they've been able to have some shooting nights. And they have to have more than one guy score. Zhang, his name is, if he scores, yes, but they got to get someone else to help him get over that hump. So I can't wait to watch the game. John, I cannot wait to watch the game. And if UCLA wins, wow, it will be the biggest story of 2021, hands down.
Cool. What a great description that was. UCLA have one path to victory there. And, Gonzaga has so many different ones. Yeah. So for you to say on offense, they have to have the best shooting game ever. And on defense, they have to have their best. It would have to be a perfect storm. And I agree. The other game, you're right. It's so hard. I don't know what game's on first. Is the Gonzaga game on first?
The Texas game is.
That's
on
good.
First. Yeah,
that's good. You need a build up,
an appetizer.
Yeah, it's it's going to be late West Coast time. The people at CBS, they move the games around. I mean, it's been a different March Madness with it being Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's been a big difference in the books and in the general kind of watching the games. But we got a great Saturday waiting for us. I cannot wait.
Awesome. Baseball is back.
Now we're talking. Okay, now I can participate.
It's unbelievable that really think about this, though, guys. Here's three guys that are which most people consider baseball the most boring sport to watch. Like I've talked about a previous podcast. John, big Dodger fan. Dave, big Pittsburgh fan. I love going to a ball game. I love going to the best. You know what? I know John goes, of course. Dave, do you ever get to take the kids to a ball game?
I love it. I don't like it. I love it. And, I mean, I coach the kids now, fast pitch softball. So I'm on a field 2 to 3 times a week. I've pitched batting practice once or twice a week. I still hit infield, outfield. I'm still around the game on the softball fields. But we used to make an annual trip every year to San Diego to see the Pirates.
Love it.
That way we centered our vacation around the Pirates West Coast trip. So ideally, we got to see Dodgers Padres. We would go up to LA and then finish it in San Diego. We've done an Arizona trip. So yeah, baseball is it, man. Like going to a baseball game is one of my favorite things and joys in life. And I can't wait to have a regular experience again at the ballpark. I mean, listen, boys, we'll go up here to Las Vegas. You want to talk about a great little ballpark?
It's incredible.
It is fantastic.
It's nice.
It is a great night out. It's easy parking in and out. I miss the big league feel, but I love, like, I would make an annual trip to spring training every year. I lived in Arizona before I moved to Vegas, and I would go down to Arizona. We would hit 5 or 6 different ballparks in a week. You know, you would do a morning and an afternoon game, or a midday and a night game. So it's awesome. My favorite thing to do is go to games. I love going to games, but especially baseball games and hockey games are my 2 favorite things to do in life to this day, even being 50 years old.
I love it.
That's fun. So again, the season starts this week. Excited to have some fans coming back after this nice long season. I should say, and we're going to have a nice long season after last year's 60-game season. So, Dave, anything you like in the future market? Anything that you've looked at in the baseball futures? Any surprises, maybe?
So I can't wait to have a full season, because last year was one of the most challenging in being in a book and trying to, manage season wins. And baseball betting changed where you didn't have listed pitchers anymore, and all these different things, and changed the rules now. Extra innings is affecting the way you do totals.
Yep.
I've never been happier to be a media guy than this year. Like I could kind of just breathe and just not be in a book and worry about guys like you picking apart my numbers. But the Red Sox season wins, I think everybody's kind of overestimating that the Red Sox are a brand name, and like their pitching staff, not good. And their number is 80 or 79.5, somewhere around there. I really like that one under. I just think the Yankees are going to be that good. I think the Rays are still going to be good. A lot of sharp guys like under in the Rays. I disagree with that one. I think the Blue Jays in that division.
The Blue Jays are the dark horse.
Well, I think they're the public darling, John. I think that a lot of people, they're a fun team to watch. And they got the guys, like, listen, you want to talk about feeling old, boys.
Right.
They got all the kids of the guys we watched.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's almost like every player is the son of a major big league, former big leaguer. Who
we all liked. Like, they didn't get any of the jerks on there. They're all guys that we liked. So you want to root for that team.
For sure.
But their pitching staff is, I don't know. I'm not crazy about them. So I really like the Red Sox under. I want to like the Pirates over. The number's so absurdly low, but my God.
What is it, like 60 something? What is it?
No, it's 58.
50? Oh my God.
It's 58. Wow. Can you ever remember seeing a total that low? No, of course not.
They're saying they're going to have 100-game losing season.
Yes.
They're lose 102 games.
104. 58 and 104 is the number. And I think you got to go under if you're going to do it. The NL West is also fascinating, John. And the Dodgers total is you have to pay a premium for it. But I can't wait to watch Dodgers Padres as a baseball fan. I can't wait to see the stuff that's going to go on between, the benches and the celebrations and all those little things, because that's the fun part of baseball. All these unwritten rules, stuff like that. So I can't wait to see Trevor Bauer in a Dodger uniform, John. You got to be super excited, right?
Oh my God. I'm so excited. I'm curious. I have a question for the both of you. I would like to know if both of you acknowledge on this very show right now that the Dodgers are going to shatter the record for wins in a season. Do you both acknowledge that's going to happen this season?
I would bet no. But I don't.
So would I. This is what we do, though.
Yeah.
Listen to me. You heard it here. You heard it here.
All right.
The Dodgers are going to win 120 games.
Oh, that's here. What's the no to that?
You heard it here.
I don't
heard it
here.
here.
Prices. I'm
Matter of fact,
coming with the bag.
I want the producers to timestamp. I want the producers to timestamp this right now so it's easy for them to find in October.
Wow. Going to win 75% of their games?
Dinner at Grimaldi's on me.
Okay.
All of you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll rent out the whole place, actually. If they win 120 games, it's pizza night. We'll go to the ball. I don't care. We'll get a suite at the Las Vegas ballpark to celebrate.
Okay.
There's no chance in hell, John, that they're winning 120 games.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Crazy. Let's talk a little sports gambling business here.
I like it. I like it, Crack.
The big news in the sports media world, the DraftKings purchased VSiN which I'm a guest on every Thursday on Gil Alexander's Numbers Game. But my 2 cents is that it's a smart move by DraftKings. They're expanding the content part of the business to enhance their core betting business, really. What's your thoughts? What do you think? A lot of people are like upset about this, and I'm not sure it's as big as a story as they're making it out to be. Outside of the business aspect of it, I mean, the guys that own VSiN, they built it up, and they kind of hit the lottery here, being off Sirius Radio and stuff. But and good for them. But the guys that are on Twitter and the guys that like to talk stuff under the anonymity of Twitter and stuff, and they're and I understand some of them though. They're saying the content might not be as good. So I'm answering the question for myself. So let's see what you think. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
It's fascinating what's going on right now. And I don't know if I want to say that I saw it happening, but the media side is the upside for a lot of the books. The books are grinded, man. I mean, it's a good year in a book's 8%. Hold 10. I mean, you hold 10%, you can retire. Yep. So the business model is not flawed from the beginning. This is the way the book business is. This is what it is. But the media side, everybody's looking for a dance partner, Crack. Everyone is looking for a dance partner. Patton found Barstool. PointsBet picked NBC Sports. DraftKings got VSiN now. There's more coming. There's 100%. There's more coming. And, everyone's looking to partner up with somebody. Finding credible, entertaining sports betting stuff is the biggest challenge for guys. We need to be able to talk to the novice as well as the pro. Yeah. And I think there's very few people doing it. I like to think I'm one of them. I want to be able to talk to your grandmother as well as, Crack. I want to be able to talk to my wife, who could care less about any of it most times, as much as the guy that's in the book every day betting his $10 parlay. So, and the pros in between. I mean, the pros already know most of the time. They don't listen to podcasts. They already have all the answers and they already have their methodology. So you're not really talking to them. I think it's obviously a move that a lot of books are making. You need to be able to get more people in. So any way I think you can do that, I think, why not? I mean, even like BetMGM partnered with this Audacity that used to be Entercom, that, so there's so many things going on. And personally, I saw more opportunity in the media side of it, and it's way more enjoyable than in the book side. I thought expansion for states having it and books opening would make an odds maker like me. I mean, I thought, all right, my back nine of my life, I'm going to have an opportunity. I'm going to have jobs. I may be able to move somewhere else. I may be able to stay here and work remotely. Who knows? None of it happened. It's all being done by companies elsewhere. So the media side has given a guy like me an opportunity, which I welcome. And I love talking about the business. I love being around the business. And I think it's good overall, specifically that deal. Yeah, the hardcore guys are going to be upset, but the hardcore baseball fans are mad about the extra inning rule. It's so you can't please everybody. And that being in the book, Crack. John, that being in the media. Do what you do and just do it good. And people will come and find you. If you don't do it good, listen, now, I mean, companies like VSiN, you're on notice now. You got DraftKings people coming in too. There's no playing around. You want to get your game good, get it up and going, or, there's going to be other people that are going to pass you by. So it's really interesting, but I think at the same time, it's exciting. The hardcore guys aren't going to like it, but they don't like anything.
Well, Dave, is it known?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say, did you guys see how much? I tried to find the dollar amount. I couldn't find it anywhere.
They're not going to talk about that.
$100 million.
Is it stock swap?
It's being reported that it was $100 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw the article on a bunch of different sites, one of them being Legal Sports Report, one of them being on awfulannouncing.com. Yeah, I see all these media stuff now because I'm a media guy. So that was the number that was reported. But
I just figured it wasn't going to be talked about. That's going to be kept, stock thing. I'm sure there's a lot of stock involved too, but that stock could be worth $100 million. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. They really hit the lottery then.
That's winning. That's winning.
Wow. But is it known that Sports Grid is owned by FanDuel? Is that out there, Dave, or no?
No, not that I'm aware of, but
Okay.
I mean, obviously the partnership is there.
Yeah, the partnership's there.
Where FanDuel stuff is painted all over everything that I do,
Okay.
at least on Sports Grid, and talk about and talk to people. So I think that's going to be one of those, that's probably coming down the road. I think you're going to see some things happen in the next. Everybody's ramping up for football season, just like this is the March Madness Final Four game. The championship game is the culmination of that's the fiscal year. Everything gets wrapped up. You grind through the playoffs in baseball and hockey. You have the Masters, you have golf, you have the Kentucky Derby, et cetera, and you have baseball. But everything is ramping up to late August in the book, for the business, for the media. So expect a lot of things to happen between April 1st or April 3rd, whatever the date is of the game, and before the first football game in August.
Cool. That's I'm still shocked at that number, to be honest with you, but that's great for them guys, because they've put up with me, and I go on there, and me, I kind of speak my mind about potential advertisers or even advertisers and stuff. I rip apart, I just give it from a sports betting standpoint. I don't get paid to be on there. I just go on as a guest, and it's we call our episode unscripted, because that's what I do. I'm unscripted, and I just talk straight from the hip. I mean,
so Crack, would you go on if they say next week you go on and Gil's producer says, all right, you can't say this, or this, if they give you a list, does that affect your one, desire to go on, and two, if you have to think about what you're saying, you're not as effective. Your strength is you're off the cuff, like just rolling. Right. So does that affect your?
Well, listen, I'll respect their wishes.
Of course.
I would respect their wishes. I'm kind of easygoing. I just listen. I was on there ripping apart William Hill and a couple times, and that could have been a potential buyer. So they asked me if I would curb that, and I kind of did. I mean, I was just telling the truth. I wasn't meaning to rip them. I'm just telling them how it is. It's not anything personal. It's just it was the way they were running their model, and they had Nick Bogdanovich on there every week talking about all the big bets they take, and yet they wouldn't take a $100 bet from me, on a straight NFL game, nothing. So
sometimes it's like the movie A Few Good Men, when Jack Nicholson said you can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'm finding that a lot as I'm doing more and more media. Sometimes that's the case.
And the same thing with stations. I was on there last week talking about stations, how they threw me off the app, and they let me talk about it. No one came to me after it said anything, so I was happy about that. But if they said, hey, Bill, you have to curb this down or curb that down, I would respect their wishes. I can still go on Twitter and talk about it, so I don't care. But I am a guest on their network. But I almost had to remind them at one time that, guys, you aren't paying me. Remember that. Because I think they thought they were. I swear. The person that said something to me, he has a minority share. And I think I had to tell him, I don't get paid to do this, right? And I think he actually hesitated and said, oh, yeah, that's right. So,
you're not a puppet.
No, right? No. But well, that actually leads me to my final question. I seen someone do something last week, and that just like that, like an 18 parlay. I seen someone run $50 after his fourth ticket to 15,000. Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, $50 into 15,000. The guy had a lot of heart too. He had his first 6-teamer. He put the whole 6-teamer in action on the next 6-teamer. It was sick. So, and so he had 12 out of 12 in front of me. I couldn't believe it. Now he was moving lines a little bit. This was back east. You can move the totals on hockey and stuff. So he was moving to, he was laying on mostly everything, a good number, but he really went on a tear. He bet the whole 15. He built it up to 15,000, and the balls of a lion, man. I've never seen no one do this. He bet 15,000 on a money line on Oral Roberts, where they lost by 2, and they had the last 3-pointer there to go in. And his goal was to get to $100,000, and he would have got there. He would have got close to there. And that's what he said. He's done this already. He ran $50. No, not 50. I'm sorry. That was 500. He ran 500 into almost $200,000 a couple of years ago. And he was on his way. this past week, I see with my own eyes. I almost couldn't believe it as I seen it. And so that's the biggest I ever seen. I wonder, what have you seen? What kind of parlays or ROIs have you seen where someone bet something and they hit something, for 20 grand or something from a little bit of, what have you seen in your life?
I love these stories, and this is why I love the book. I mean, I could sit and listen to this. We could compare notes, and someday when I write the book, it's going to be fantastic. I might have to write a trilogy.
Oh yeah.
One of my all-time best ones that I saw was at the M. A guy came up to the counter and did a $15 round robin parlay with 3 NBA games and Oklahoma against Alabama in the bowl game. So this was Christmas Eve. This was Christmas week. So it was 2 days before New Year's Day. No one in the book. Guy bet $75. He did round robin by 3s and 4s. Spent $75. And he took the 3 biggest dogs in the NBA that night and was like, yeah, nobody wants to play these games. The home teams got worried about their Christmas, New Year's plans. He gave me all this reasoning, and I was just like, all right, buddy, no problem. Good luck with the ticket. It was $75, and I'll tell you what, if all 4 teams win, he wins $48,000.
Oh my God.
Spent $75.
Oh.
So he has the Knicks plus 700. He has the Sixers plus 550. He has someone else was also, they were all 10-point dogs or more in the NBA. And then Oklahoma was over a 2-touchdown dog to Alabama in the bowl game. Now he's got a day to hedge.
Yeah.
If all 3 NBA games come in, on his $75 return, he's going to make 15 dimes at least, maybe 20. And then if the last game hits, he cashes them all. So I go home that night and I'm watching. The first thing that comes up is the Knicks beat the Spurs. And I'm like, the Knicks beat the Spurs. This guy has a shot. Like, he may actually, he has a shot. So now I'm watching the other 2 NBA games like a goof. I'm watching the scores on my phone for a guy that has, I know the guy. He's a regular, and this is what he does. I mean, he's been taking shots forever. And both NBA games get there. Wow. I can't wait. I'm texting all the boys in the book. I'm like, hey, he's got the 3-teamer. He made 15 dimes, but he's got Oklahoma. So he's got to come hedge. He's got to come bet Alabama on the money line. He's got to do something, right? Nah.
I love him.
He don't come in. He comes in to bet more on Oklahoma. He comes in like I told you guys. First thing in the book, he's there. I think before the book opens, telling me, Dave, I told you. I'm like, hey man, that's awesome. I hope Oklahoma wins. So now he won't hedge. We're like, well, you going to hedge at all? He's like, no, Oklahoma's going to win the game. I told you they were going to win the game before. I bet it. They're going to win the game. We all bet Oklahoma. We liked Oklahoma plus the points, but the boys in the book, we wanted this guy to win.
Sure.
So we're like, oh, we're betting Oklahoma. So we go and Oklahoma kicks Bama's butt. Wow. Like I went home that night, Oklahoma destroyed them. So now we come in the morning and we're waiting for, we'll call him Joe. He wasn't Joe, but we'll call him Joe. We're waiting for Joe to come in because Joe just going to cash a ticket for $47.5. We figured Joe was at the Rhino. Joe was probably living it up, spending the money, having one of those Vegas nights that we all have had and know about. What time is Joe going to come in? That's what time we're setting a line for. Oh, Joe ain't coming in before noon. No, 11:52 and a half, so you over under. Here we go. So we're making lines on when he comes in. Here he comes afternoon. It was between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Strolling in, eyes glazed over, smiling. He walked in like Fred Astaire, man. He was dancing. He was coming in, strutting. I'm coming up to the window. I told you all. If we had walk-up music, we would have played it. It was fantastic. So we pay him out $47.5. He drops us a wad, 4-figure wad, took care of the boys. This is nice. For all you guys for rooting it in. We bet Oklahoma too. We're high-fiving. He went over to the Vig. He bought 6 pizzas and said, get everybody pizza. I want pizzas for the boys, have lunch on me, et cetera, et cetera. So the end of the story is this. Well, I go, Joe, what are you going to do? He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, what are you going to do now? Like, how do you follow that up? He's like, well, I'm going fishing. You're what? He goes, First thing I'm doing is I'm going to buy a truck. I'm going to the car dealership and buy a truck right now. Then I'm going to pick up my dad and I'm going fishing in Utah. And I was like, that is one of the coolest answers I ever heard in my life. I said, you just hit that parlay and you're going fishing with your dad. I was so excited and jealous for the guy. Like I was not jealous. I was genuinely happy for the guy that he went and took it and did something with it. You guys know what? I never saw him again. He never came back in that book again. What do you do next?
Yeah.
What is
I'll tell you why.
After that? That's
I'll tell you why. Because he was finally even.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great stories, man. Well, listen, we usually do an hour show, usually a half hour with the guests. We went the whole hour here with you.
Sorry, man. I took
that's what we can do.
Great.
We're guys who just, can get along together and talk about anything. But Dave, thanks for joining us, man. And for everyone out there, you can find Dave on Sirius Channel 204 on the shows he said, and your Twitter handle at Sportsbook Consigliere. You want to give the actual Twitter handle, please?
Yeah, it's at SportsBK Consig because you can't get enough letters. But Consigliere, like that scene from when Billy Martin says it in that movie, Analyze This. I can't get enough of it. Everybody says it different. But you guys, thanks for the call. Keep calling, and I can't wait to at least catch a baseball game in person. But if the Dodgers win 120 games, we're going on me wherever John wants to go.
All right.
I'm in.
Thanks, Dave.
It's good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.
Crack, that guy is just like you. I could listen to the two of you tell stories for literally days. Like if you guys each had your own channel on like DirecTV, I would literally tune in. I would just listen.
I love those kind of stories. They're not for everyone, but I'm an old school guy anyway, so I love hearing the old stories of what happened real in the sports book with a guy that was there for all of it. So excellent guest.
Okay, so Crack, this was a long show. We got to wrap this up real quick. Next week, we're going to do a betting baseball, package kind of thing. Go over with baseball season getting underway tomorrow. Next week's show, we'll talk about the first week in baseball, and we'll talk about how you're going to approach stuff. And we will, enjoy the Final Four. And this was a fun show.
Excellent, John. Thanks. And thanks for all the listeners and viewers out there. Thanks for tuning in and giving us the time to, try to help you guys win some money or save some money anyway.
All right. And we will see you guys next week on Wise Kracks.